Is immigration the solution to America's Social Security crisis? You've heard that many, many times. And here at FAIR, we're prepared to shred the shibboleth, the nonsense of this idea that we can immigrate our way out of our Social Security crisis. Hi, I'm Dan Stein, president of the Federation for American Immigration Reform, and you're watching this on YouTube, I'm thinking, and so you want to check that subscribe button to make sure you get all of FAIR's latest content. We're coming at you hard all the time with great news and information and great data. And today we're going to talk about something extremely important with FAIR's Director of Research, Spencer Raley, who's with us today, who with his team have just completed this report, really scrubbing down several years worth of work to take a look at this whole question. Is immigration really a solution to America's Social Security crisis? Spencer, welcome. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me on, Dan.
Okay, so what's the elevator pitch? Yes or no?
Well, of course, it's no secret that the Social Security program today faces a very real threat of running out of money. We're hearing all the time about how the ratio of workers to retirees is dropping too quickly. And of course, with that, many in government want to use this as an excuse to call for mass immigration and amnesty for potentially millions of illegal aliens to supposedly fix this problem. So our goal is to just look at whether mass immigration actually helps the program. And what we found is that this approach actually causes much more significant problems for the Social Security program than it fixes. Yes, it'll be a quick infusion of cash to the program in the short term, but immigrants to the United States typically work careers that are about 5 to 10 years shorter than native-born Americans. We also found that because of that, they typically pay quite a bit less into the program than they ultimately take out in retirement benefits. So because of that, it actually harms the program. It could even essentially condemn the program in the long term if we're not careful versus actually helping it.
So you're looking both at the long-term costs over a lifetime, the relatively low skill level of many immigrants coming in, particularly through the family preference system, the very low educational attainment and earning power for those here illegally. And then when you add that up, along with people bringing their elderly relatives, it's basically a net drain on the system.
Yes, and that's really a really key point there is length of career. Because for those that work shorter careers, the Social Security Administration will actually include years where they weren't in the United States yet as a zero, which puts them into a lower income bracket and can actually lead to them receiving more in benefits in in the long term.
Well, how did you actually do the report? How did you actually get the data?
All the data we pulled from federal government sources. We aren't just making, willy-nilly estimates here. We looked at what we could find from the Bureau of Labor Statistics and the American Community Survey, which is administered by the Census Bureau. And then we compared that income data to the rather complex way that the Social Security Administration calculates benefits. So what we did is we looked at federal government data and reached our conclusions that way.
Well, this is huge because we've been told now for years by the Cato Institute and the mass immigration proponents that more people is good to pay into the system, and that, like a Ponzi scheme, will prop up Social Security for those baby boomers who are beginning to collect for the next 40 or 50 years. And the idea that that's not true is rather huge, rather significant, and tells us something about the long-term fiscal reliability of Social Security. If that's not the solution, what is?
Well, just like really any kind of government program or retirement program, what is important is more money flowing into the program than being taken out in benefits. So one of the biggest keys is length of career. And one fix for this would be a piece of legislation that FAIR has long supported, the RAISE Act, which was brought up by Tom Cotton in previous sessions, and of course didn't ever make it to the president's desk. But this piece of legislation would focus on things like merit over how our immigration system is currently administration, which of course is family ties. And merit would be things such as education level age, ability to speak English, or whether or not a potential migrant has a skill that is needed in the United States. And all of these things would lead to younger migrants coming to the United States who have the ability to work long careers and high earning careers, of course, because the more money they make in the United States, the more they're going to be contributing to programs like Social Security, which would help keep it solvent over the long term.
But this would numerically, though, be a lower number because, I mean, the world doesn't supply an unlimited number of highly skilled, really capable people, if you will, who are going to be putting that kind of money into the system, right?
Absolutely. And really, you know, one of the important aspects of having that lower number, like you mentioned, is that it allows the market to dictate how much workers are being paid. So instead of having an overabundance of workers who are going to be earning less than because demand is low, it increases demands and it puts money into workers' pockets, which of course ultimately puts money into retirement programs like Social Security.
So people often say if you're going to live a long time, you should take Social Security later, right? But they say if you're not sure you're going to live a long time, there's kind of a break-even point. Like maybe if you don't think you're going to live beyond 84 or something, you should take it when you're 62, right? Did you figure out the income where there's kind of a break-even point for immigrants coming in where they're actually taking out more than they're putting in? I mean, basically, what's the income level or the number of years in the labor force where people represent a net drain or start to represent a net positive?
Well, that's sometimes a little bit difficult to figure out because it varies by, you know, types of industries, how much people are making, you know, income-wise, et cetera. Now, the Social Security Administration ranks your highest earning 35 years, meaning higher earning workers who have long careers will receive a lower proportion back in retirement. And many migrants who come to the United States work less than 35 years. Therefore, those years that they don't work, the Social Security Administration looks at it and says, oh, you didn't earn anything in those years. Therefore, we're going to put you in a lower income bracket, which would potentially lead to you receiving a higher proportion in retirement benefits. So, you know, there's a very important kind of number there that we're looking for, and that's really a career that's at least 35 years long in order to help keep this program solvent.
So you think we should put an age restriction on immigrants coming in unless they bring a certain amount of money?
Well, that's a really good question, and it's something that you know, depends on what we could get through in the courts, of course.
Isn't that what a lot of other countries do when they're soliciting American retirees? They want to see what kind of money you got in the bank, right?
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's an important thing we need to look at is how much can a migrant offer to our country when they come here. And one thing that we promote in our report here, and that's really important to ensure is being enforced, is the public charge rule. This is something that President Trump has been trying to focus on for a number of years now, and it's been bogged down in legislation, in the courts. And now with, you know, the COVID-19 pandemic, it's kind of difficult to see if it's being enforced properly or not. But what that would do is it would, you know, require that those that are coming to the United States have the means to take care of themselves. They're not likely to need to rely on, you know, public service programs, and would be making incomes that they could not only cover their own when it comes to programs like Social Security, but would be adding a surplus so they could help others who may be needing to take from this program themselves.
All right. Well, so folks who want to find this report and get it on our website, it's on our website. What's the full title, Spencer?
The title of this report is Mass Immigration Won't Save Social Security, and you can find it at www.fairus.org.
Right. That's www.fairus.org. I'm Dan Stein with Spencer Raley. Thanks for joining us, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We will talk to you soon.